Trylko for the Sons of UCF here in the venue, UCF Volleyball. It's going to be a new look in 2023. All-American McKenna Melville has graduated, and longtime head coach Todd Dagenet has moved on to a new professional league. There's stability, though. Assistant head coach Jenny Maurer gets the nod as head coach. Players believe they're ready to make their mark in their first year in the Big 12. First, Coach, congratulations on being named head coach. How does that feel as you've gotten into it now?
Thank you, and it feels great. It's kind of, getting back on the saddle a little bit because I've been in this chair before, but it's been a long time, it feels like, and at the same time, this last 7 years whizzed by. I've learned so much, and I'm obviously at a place that is very well supported, so I got to hit the ground running. I love it. It's great.
And what is that for a program, when you're transitioning into a new conference like this, and when you're getting a new head coach, it's someone who's been with the program and familiar with it?
Yeah, I think we're all in the trenches together. We're talking a lot about the newness of it all, and so we're kind of all experiencing this for the first time. I mean, I've been a part of conference changes. One of my assistants actually has been a part of a conference change into the Big 12 at one of his previous institutions. So it's a good blend of experience, and I think our team would actually mimic that as well. We have some experience back who have played against Power Fives before, and adding in then the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed freshmen to that mix, and it's a great blend.
What was this European trip like, and how did it come at such a good time with these transitions?
Yeah, you nailed it on the head. It was unbelievable. Obviously, the sites that we got to see, Bring It Promotions, the company that organizes these, there were dozens of teams, men's teams, women's teams, different divisions that got to go on these tours. But, when Todd had created this itinerary, he had been to a lot of these countries in the past, so he knew what culturally we were going to experience as well as the quality of volleyball. And so it was completely invaluable. Making that transition to taking over a team and getting to work with them before August, that was just second to none. So I think we had a great time along the trip, learning and seeing new cultures and whatnot. But we really got to kind of find out who we were as a team a lot before. We were only missing 2 of our entire roster on that trip. So we got to really test some things out and start identifying ourselves.
Ladies, what was the trip like?
Not a lot of us have been to Europe, so that number one was a really good experience to go and see that. People don't get to do that a lot, so the fact that we got to do it with the people that we're close to and also play volleyball was, unreal. So
I was really grateful for the experience. I'm new to the team, so it was a really good opportunity to bond with everyone, and I thought we made a lot of progress as a team just coming together, and it helped us in our preseason right now.
What's been your impression of the team just joining the program, and how has everyone kind of welcomed you so far?
Very welcoming. I kind of already feel at home. Within the first week I got here, everyone has been really welcoming, and just I feel comfortable, and it relates a lot to the on-the-court play too.
What do you think the identity of this team is now in the post-McKenna Melville era?
Well, I think we recognize that you're not going to replace a 5-time All-American. Never will there be a 5-time All-American again. And so while we honor the past and we're grateful for those who got to play with her, at the same time, we're not trying to be something we're not. And you don't replace those players. You reload. You find your new identity. And so for us, I think it's much more well-balanced. It's kind of like the movie Moneyball. You don't take a Johnny Damon and just find another one. We're going to be much more offensive from all 3 positions along the net, our back row attack as well. You're going to see a very pesky team, a very infuriating team defensively. So I think they're nodding their heads. They know how we're getting after it. And so there are definitely going to be some new pieces to our identity. But at the same time, not going away from what our ideals are, what our values are, performing, top-notch academically as well as athletically.
For you guys who have done so well in the American before, now as you're transitioning to Big 12 with some really top programs, what does that kind of sound like and feel like for, we talk about football a lot in terms of the transition, but for you guys who are going from the top of your conference to another competitive one? What's just that feeling like for you?
I think we're all excited to get a good, consistent competition throughout the whole conference. With the AAC, although all teams were very good teams and we'd love to go out and compete against them, the Big 12 is a whole different story. Every single team is good and competitive, and so every game is going to be a challenge. So I think that's what we're all kind of excited for, is the challenge and having the chip on our shoulder of coming from a top program in the AAC and then kind of being, we were ranked kind of low, but having that chip on our shoulder to be like, okay, we want to come out and prove ourselves and win.
Big fish, little pond.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
I would just say I think we're ready. I think we've been working a lot off the court and coming together as a team, and our coaches have been really instilling these like core values and just like little things that we need to work on to come together as a team that's going to relate a lot to our play, and I think that's just going to make us stand out from the rest of the teams, and I think we're just focused on getting 1% better every day.
Do you think you're being underestimated? You saw what those preseason projections looked like.
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard to see yourself kind of being ranked low, especially coming from a top program that wins. But we don't think we take it as any, like, thinking less of ourselves. I think we take it, like we said, kind of as a challenge and wanting to get to that top spot, even if we have to work all the way from the bottom.
We've heard naysayers a lot for quite some time, especially with the graduation of this last class. They were already starting to say it all spring that we were going to, limp our way into the Big 12. So I think it's nothing new for us. And I think we've talked a lot about it as an identity, as an athletic program, that chip on our shoulder, the new kids on the block. We've heard that for years. So that's just fuel for us to go, all right, well, all we can do is prove them wrong or right. But I think our intent is to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are friends with student athletes on all the other teams. Do you guys talk about this in general, just as a university, that this big transition is about to happen, and just maybe how cool this is that you're all kind of going through it together?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking to some soccer players behind you, and obviously they're going into Sunbelt, but even their transition into a better conference, a good conference, and we have friends from all different types of sports, and I think, like I said before, everybody's just kind of excited to get into a consistent competition every weekend.
What pride do you take in being the first program in the first year of the Big 12, the program in the first year of the Big 12?
It's a lot of pride. I mean, we get to go out there and prove ourselves and be that first team to step into that position, and not a lot of teams get to do that. So, I mean, I'm very prideful of it.
I agree.
Go ahead.
I agree. I think it's a good way for us to kind of like set the tone for the teams that come after us, because it's a really cool thing that we get to do.
I think both of them have alluded to it as well. We've played this level of competition in the preseason, and there's a different level of focus that is required to maintain that high level throughout the season, regardless of the level of competition. And so, like Chloe mentioned, going into the Big 12, where there's no forgiving days, I think there's a lot of pride, there's a lot of excitement. I know those players that graduated this last year, they're bummed that they can't experience it, because those were such fun matches for us in the past that I think that's not lost on those who get to come back and be a part of it.
And how do you think your schedule prepares you for this Big 12? So like your preseason, your non-conference schedule?
Yeah, I mean, we have some heavy hitters. You have Florida State, who in-state rivals, year in and year out. Syracuse, another Power 5 program that we've played in the past. There's kind of a mixture. Alabama State, who consistently wins their conference. They're always making appearances in the NCAA tournament. There's a whole kind of blend out there. And then going, obviously, to Purdue and Illinois. We faced Illinois a few years ago in a preseason tournament. So Purdue is consistently a Sweet 16 or better team. So we know that we're going to be ready come conference time.
And how do you feel the venue is a tremendous home court advantage?
Oh, how do we feel about it? We love it, especially all the transformations that are going on. They've painted, we're adding a video board. It's kind of an exciting time for us. We've been a part of it through camps this summer of seeing all that transformation, and so we love when people come to play here. I remember the Miami match last year when we went 5, and of course both teams had a lot of in-state players as well. So talk about just an electric environment. It's a hard place to play when we get the band going, and we just have great attendance at our matches. So we're looking forward to this being a tough place to play.
So if things are going well for each of you, what are we going to see from this team?
I mean, we talked about kind of we have core values, and one of them was grit, and I think that's what you're going to see a lot of from us as a team and individual players, is that we're going to come out fighting, and whether or not we're down, whether or not we lose a set, whether or not we're winning, we're going to come out with some fight and some grit and the want to win. So
I think a lot of fire. I think we come into practice every day just like ready to get after it and pushing each other to be the best players that we can be and people. And I think that's just one of the best things that we can do to grow as a team.
And Coach,
Yeah.
if it's going right, what are we going to see?
Well, I think you see contributions from a lot of players. This is a team of givers. And so whether they're on the court, whatever role they're playing, you see a team that's just completely locked in and engaged. They're all given whether they're coaching each other in their own position, you see a team that is, I think they nailed the words too, a very gritty team, a team that can keep their composure because they've been battle tested already, but at the same time, they're pretty pesky.
Lauren, just quick for you. Oh, sorry. Just quick for you, just on your decision to transfer to UCF, what kind of went into that? What about this program stood out to spend your graduate year here?
Actually, so at my previous school, we played UCF, and I was instantly like, I love this place. Like, I love playing here. I love the venue. I think it's really cool that the volleyball team has their own place to like practice and play. That's really cool. And I just love the environment, the coaches. Everyone made me feel really welcome, and I mentioned that before. Like, I just feel like at home already.
Volleyball opens on the road in the Albany Classic against Navy, Syracuse, and Albany before returning home August 31st, hosting FIU, Mississippi State, Wake Forest, and Alabama State. For the Sons of UCF, I'm Trey Trylko.